Assalamu alaikum, welcome to my Man's Tech Developer Journey. I am doing a Programming Hero course and in module 27 we have learned many things which we'll walk through here. I asked ChatGPT to give me example and explanation of the module 27 so that I can walk through it and get better understand. And in this video I am also practicing my English, so if I pronounce something wrong or my phonetics is not right, then please forgive me about that. I'm just learning and I'm doing this video for learning purpose. So let's begin. In module number 17, the first video was about the prime and non-prime primitive and non-primitive data types. So here primitive is simple single value. Okay, think of the primitive like a single toy, just one thing. That's types number. So primitive types are these 7. I think these 7s are the primitive types, which are number, string, boolean, undefined, null, big init. I don't know about this ones yet, and the symbol. I think these are the symbol which is operator symbol. I don't know, I am not clear about these two things. So let's dive into the example here. Here is a variable which is age, name Habib, late is admin, is true. The first one is number, as we can see. Second one is the string, and the third one is boolean. We know that boolean is true and false, and the string is starts with this quote, and number doesn't have any quotes, and it's direct number. If we input a quote in front and the back of the 25, then it will be a string. So this stored the actual value directly. Okay, and let's see the non-primitive reference type. Think of this like a toy box. Okay, inside it many toys types. So non-primitive types are these three, which are object, array, and function. So let's see examples. Let user so here it is an object, user object, which has a key of name and value Habib, and age is 25. So let numbers, here is another variable which is the numbers in array types. So as we can see, here is a third bracket, and inside of it it's the number 1 2 3, which is an array. And here is another types, which is the function. The function name is greet, and it's there is no parameter here. So and its console log hello. So when we call this function, it will output hello. So these types of I think these types of thing called non-primitive. Okay, then in the video number 1 we learned about null versus undefined. Undefined means here it gives an example like I created the box but didn't put anything inside. So which means undefined means we have created a variable like here let x, and we didn't give any value to this variable. That's why when we console this, it will say undefined. which means I have created this. The x is exist, but we didn't put any value for the x. That's why it shows as undefined. On the other hand, null is not defined. Null is null, which we didn't define anywhere. For example, why define? Why here is an example. Why undefined happens? Variable are declared, as we can see here, but instead of assigned, but not assigned. Sorry, but not assigned. Which if we write something like let x equal 1, which means we define the x as 1, but here we don't define anything the x. That's why variable declared, which is x declared but not assigned, like we didn't assign any value to this x, then the function doesn't return anything. Okay. Okay, accessing non-existing object property. So for the function, I think here as an example, if it doesn't return anything, it will show undefined. When we call this grid, it will console log this, but in the front end, I think if we don't do write anything here, it will shows undefined and non-existing object property. So if we create an object like here name, if we don't define anything here, then it will show undefined. Example here, let user, and then it's an object, as we can see, console log user.name. As we don't define any name inside the object, it will show us undefined. Then we have null, means I intentionally put nothing. Okay, so for the null, let car equal null, which is written intentionally. Okay, undefined is accidental empty, which may cause we can assign the variable later. That's why we didn't define anything to that variable. And null is intentional empty, which is we know we won't do something for this. That's why we put intentionally null. Okay, in the video number 2, we have truthy and falsy values. In JavaScript, everything is either truthy or falsy in condition. So falsy values only 7 not, which is means I think this 7 okay 4 7, these 7s are the falsy value. Let's say false equal falsy value, 0 equal falsy value, -0 also falsy value, and empty string is also falsy value, null is also falsy value, undefined is also the falsy value, and not a number, which is nan, is also falsy value. Here we have an example. If 0, then console log hello, else console log falsy. As we know 0 is a falsy value, it will return us falsy. As you can see, output is falsy. So I think we got this, which is falsy. So if we write here null instead of 0, we will also get it as falsy value. Okay, so let's talk about the truthy value. Everything else is truthy value. So expect this 7 instead of this 7, all the values are truthy. Here is an example. If string, it's not an empty string. If it is empty string, it will give us output as a falsy value. But as we have Habib inside of this string, it will console log us truthy. Okay. In the third video, we learn equal equal versus triple equal. So dual equal is loose comparison. It converts types automatically. So here is an example. Console log 5 equal 5. As we can see, 5 is a number type here, and it is a string because this 5 is string type because it start with the string. So in dual equal it will give us true because JS converts string 5 onto number 5. So it assumes that 5 is it converts the 5 as a number even though it's written inside of a string. JavaScript converts 5 as a number 5. So we can see that 5 is already a number, then equal JavaScript convert this string into a number 5, then it output as true. Okay, now let's talk about the triple equal strict comparison. Okay, no type conversion. So which means triple equal doesn't convert the string. So in here console log 5 triple equal string 5 triple equal string 5, it gives us false. Why? Because this triple equal also check this 5 types which is a string. So it can behind the scene it's happened something like that. 5 is a number, this 5 types is number, and these types are string. This 5 types is string, data type is string. So it's not definitely same because it's 5 we can see, and it's 5 in loose equal which is double equal, it converts the number, it doesn't check the data types. But in triple equal it also check the data types. So 5 is data types of number, and this 5 is data types is string, so it gives us false. So it said that always prefer triple equal in real project. So we won't use this, usually we will always prefer this one, but we may need to use this one in some cases, but we will always use, which is an exception, but we will always use this triple equal. Okay, in the video number 4 we have see that the video has scope and hoisting. So global scope, access from anywhere. For example, here is a variable named Habib, and here is a function which is create, and there is no parameter here, it's console log simply in the name, which is this one. So it can be accessed from anywhere. Let's talk about the block scope. I think there are two types of scope. One is global scope, one is the other one is block scope. So inside this object, let's say let age is equal to 25, console log age, which is an error. Let and const are blocked scope. So we can okay, load and cons is block scope, okay, and bar is not blocked scope. We don't use bar, so we can skip it, but I need to understand this line here. Let and const are block scope. Okay, I think I have to learn this again about the block scope. I need to explore it more. Let's see, an object, inside of that object we have left a variable age. So if we console log age, which is not okay, got it. So let's see, inside of this function there is a this one, the let age is inside of this. For example, before the console log dot name, if we put this let age 25, we cannot access this name variable. So apologize for the delay. So it's as I am talking about this one. So if we insert this let age variable inside of this function, we can directly console log out or the age variable out of this function, which means it's a block scope. Whatever we run inside of this function will become a block scope, but outside of this function, like here is name variable, it's global scope, and inside of this function everything will be a block scope. Then we have hoisting. Okay, JavaScript moves declaration to the top, okay. So something like here is an example, JavaScript console log x var x equal 10. JavaScript is like this, variable x console log x equal 10, which means if we create a variable using var, it will hoisting, it will move to top. Okay, then if we use okay, let's try this actually. So var equal, okay, let's try this. So let's try this on here. If we start this here, then if we run something like test.js, it will show us undefined. Why? Because var is we are console logging the x before it initialized, so it's find x before it defined. Okay, let's see another example which is given us here. Okay, I'm not sure about the hoisting yet. So far I understand that hoisting is something like JavaScript moves declaration to top. Okay, so I think I need to learn this more. Let's see if we use instead of var, if we use let, what will happen? So here we go. When we use the var to create a variable, it shows us undefined. Here is undefined because it actually is not defined. So let me get back to this and duplicate this, then comment this one. Comment this one. Then if we change var to let, so in the first output we have seen that this x shows us undefined because it's not defined, which means JavaScript checks the variable x before it is initialized. But when we write the variable using let, or we can also use the const, then if we try to output this, it will shows an error, console log x, okay, cannot access x before initialization, which means let and const, when we use let and const, it gives us error, but it creates a temporal dead zone, okay, which means I think when we use let and const, this line of code doesn't check if it initialized before or not. But when you use bar, this line of code also check if bar is initialized or not. I think it's confusing, but it's hard to explain what I understand, but I think I get the core thing, but I can't explain here properly due to the language or vocabulary capacity to express my knowledge. So let's move in. We will deep dive into it later in hoisting. So in simple way, when we don't use var anyway, but if we use var, it is hoisting to the top. JavaScript moves declaration to top. So when you use var and before initializing this variable, if we console log or call this variable, it will show undefined when, which is true because we didn't initialize the variable value, that's why it shows undefined, but it checks if it is has before this console log, this line of code, when we call it the x. But if we use let and const, it doesn't go top of this like this. JavaScript doesn't say it like this, because when we use let here, then JavaScript let and const create a temporal dead zone which stops hoisting to the top. I think I have explained it better than previous. Okay, so let's move into the video number 5, which is about closure, advanced but important. Okay, simple idea: a function remembers variable from its parent even after parent is finished. Okay, so which means let's see the example. A function has outer and no parameter here, it has a count variable, then it returns another function which is inner function. What it does, it increase this count, which means this 0 is getting increased by 1, which is plus plus here. If we console log this count, and it console log that count. Okay, this which means if we run, okay, so if we create a variable name as counter, and if we run this outer this function, we can directly call this inner function, but we can yes, we can call its parent, which is outer function. So if we call this outer function, it will gives us counter 1, output 1, and then if we call it again, it will increase that count to 2. As you can see, why? Okay, here is an explanation why. Even though outer is finished, okay, in here outer is finished, inner remembers the count. This inner remembers the count. Think like, okay, outer function created a secret locker, inner function has the key. Even after outer leaves, the locker stay alive. Okay, closure are heavily used in React, private variables, and data hiding. So we don't know about this yet. So what we can understand is that we can get this function value calling its parent. As we create a variable count, and then return it with another function, which is inner function, where we increase that count value plus plus, which means 1. So whenever we call the outer, then it will output as 1, as it is increased here and it's returned to this count, and then if we call it again, we will get 2, and again it will get 3. Okay, in the number 6, callback function. What is callback function? Callback function passed inside another function. Okay, so here is an example. Function name is greet name callback. Okay, so there is 2 parameter, one is name, another one is callback. Okay, then inside of this function we have console log hi and plus name. So hi plus this parameter, and then callback. Okay, so function, another function is say by, empty parameter, and it console by. Okay, so when we call this greet function with this parameter name, which is Habib, and then we call this function say by function, it will output hi Habib and say by, which is here by. Okay, used in set timeout, array method, async programming. We don't know this yet. I think we know the array method, but we will talk about this later on. So far we understand what is callback function, that we can put a callback function as a parameter here, then we can call a function in this parameter, because as you can see, this name is parameter, we call it as Habib, and this callback, instead of this callback, we are running this function inside of this parameter, function parameter. Okay, so output is something like hi Habib, it's supposed to be Habib, as here is Habib, and by. So as we calling this say by, it has only by, so it output like hi Habib, bye. Okay, in video number 7, pass values versus uh, pass by value and pass by reference. So pass by value is primitive. Okay, so let x equal 10. Function change all. Okay, change val equal to 20. So change x, which is this 10, console log 10. Okay, let's so we have declared a variable called x, which is 10. In the function change function, we took a parameter, and in this parameter we create a variable equal 20. So what it does, when we call the change x, okay, so we can pass x as this parameter here, then it logs us 20. Okay, this is pass by value, which is primitive. Okay, pass by reference, which is happens on the objects. So let's see, let user equal object name, which is a key, and value is Habib. So when we call a function change object, and object dot name, which is supposed to be this one, is Omar. So when we call this function and pass this user in this parameter, object parameter, then if we console log user dot name, it becomes Omar, cause here it doesn't change anything, which is primitive. That's why it doesn't change any value, pass by value. Okay, in here we can change the value. So let user, and inside of this object we have a name key, then Habib is a value, then we create a function named change and object as a parameter, object dot name equal Omar. So and when we call that when we call user inside of this parameter, object parameter, here you can see change user, it console us the Omar instead of Habib. Okay, which is reference is passed, originally is changed. So what we understand that pass by value doesn't change any I mean original values inside of this function, but pass by reference used to change object. Here it changes original by passing its reference. Okay, in the video number 8 we have array, power method, map, and forEach. forEach just loops. Okay, let number equal an array of 1 to 3, number dot forEach num arrow function console log dot num doesn't return new entries. So forEach usually don't return anything, but in maps it transform arrays. Okay, let number 1 to 3, then let doubled number dot map, and number, arrow function with this number into 2, console log double it, so it will double this one and return it as an array. So map not only double it but also it returns a new array. But in terms of for each, it doesn't return anything, doesn't return any new array, but map creates a new array and returns it, as we can see here, 246. Okay, in lesson number 9, which is video number 9, we have filter, find, reduce. So what filter does, it does return matching items. So if we use filter, let numbers 1 2 3 4 5 is an array, then let even number dot filter number, arrow function, number is divided by 2 equal triple equal 0, which means if number divided by 2 equal 0, then console log even. So when we run it, we will get output like 2 and 4. Why? Because if we divide 1 divide 2 is not equal 0. Okay, then 2 divide 2 equals 0. If 3 divide by 2 not equal 0. If we divide 4 by 2, then it will become 0. So it's give us the output 2 and 4. Okay, on the other hand, find return the first match. So let's see the code example here. Let user id, inside of this array we have object and key and the values. So let user id is 1, user id 2. Okay, let result user dot find u of user id equal 2. So if user id equal 2, then console log this result, so we will get the 2. If we add more 2 here or 22 or something else, it won't go through till the end. It will just find the first one and return the first one. Okay, then we have reduce. So reduce array to single value. Here is a code example here. Let number equal 1 2 3 4 5, then let sum numbers dot reduce total number, these two are parameters I think, then arrow function total plus number, then 0, console log sum, output is 10. 4 3 7 7 and 2 1 3 is 10. Hello, I was went for a break, so I'm back here. So I don't know why I stopped. So let's start with this reduce. Reduce array is a single value. Reduce array reduce array to single value. Okay, let's see. Here is a code. Let number 1 2 3 4 5 3 4, then let sum equal reduce total, which is parameter, and then number equal total plus number 0. So console.sum is equal 10. Achha. So think like start with 0, add each number, get 1, final result. Okay. So here is total is a parameter and number is also a parameter. So what we are doing here is with this item we are adding this number, then comma 0. Okay, then which means we something like let number is equal 0, think like this. I'm still confused about this. I will get to the support to get better understand about this reduce. And then in number 10 video we have module summary, primitive versus reference, null versus undefined, truthy, falsy, okay, equal versus triple equal, scope and hoisting, closure, callback, pass by values, pass by reference, array power methods. Okay, then we have some common question here and that's all I think. So as a beginner I may understand some concept in wrong way which shouldn't be, but as I am a learner and I don't know the JavaScript basic yet, so I may miss explained some in some section or some terms which will may spread the wrong information about that types or the terms in JavaScript. I apologize for that. As a beginner, this is okay for me to make mistakes and get something wrong or understand something wrong in a way, but I'm trying, so that's all matter. Hope you guys see you on next module.